The NAR settlement is in. What does this mean for you if you're thinking about selling your house? And what does this mean for you if you're thinking about buying a house here in the months ahead? That's what we're going to talk about today. Big topic. Stay tuned. I'm David Brownell, real broker, Brownell Team Realtors, and change is imminent. And one of the places that we've seen a lot of change recently is in the real estate industry with this NAR settlement and all these lawsuits that popped up across the country dealing with unfair practices and some steering, causing sellers to overpay and commissions to stay high in the United States. And that's all been settled. And so now what does it mean? And what do I do if I'm a seller? And what can I do if I'm a buyer? That's what we're going to talk about right here. And so the problem first is that really nothing's been settled. There's still pending settlement, and the Department of Justice is still getting involved from a 2020 different settlement that they undid. And what further investigations do they have to go into NAR? So there's still more to shake out in all of this. But if you want to know in the short term and get past some of the confusion and misinformation and some of the bad stuff that's being reported in the media, here's what I can tell you. If you're a seller, here's what it means. First, it's not much different. I mean, sellers have never been required to pay a buyer's agent. That's something that a seller had chosen to do. That was always negotiable. And now it just is further disclosed or made even clearer to sellers that they need not pay the buyer's agent should they bring a buyer to buy their house, that the buyer can be responsible for that. And so what does that mean? Well, first it means the buyer's going to pay that fee. It's no longer a seller fee, which would increase the seller's equity, more money in sellers' pockets who don't pay. Or some buyers may choose to pass on seeing the homes where sellers are no longer cooperating because they don't want to pay or can't afford to pay that buyer fee. So they only want to look at homes where the seller is paying that fee. And that may affect some sellers' ability to maximize the exposure of their house when they're going to sell it. And then other sellers will still decide to pay that fee. It's still allowed for the seller to pay it. It just can't be advertised what that amount is in the MLS or be required to be displayed in the MLS. But sellers can say, we are paying a buyer's broker, a buyer's agent who brings a buyer to our house, and we are offering a concession or an amount of money to compensate that individual for that brokerage for doing so. And some sellers are still going to do that. And for those sellers that don't, that might put them at a disadvantage. So there's going to be a lot of negotiating and a lot of changing parts for sellers going forward. Definitely consult with your real estate professional and figure out what path, or if any, might be best for you to change from your current course. What does it mean for buyers? Well, you're now required, buyers, to enter into a written agreement with your buyer's broker before they begin helping you with that quest to find, negotiate, and acquire or close on a home and move in. Another thing is that agreement's going to set the terms of compensation that you're going to compensate that buyer's agent for helping you find and negotiate through that process and win that home. And if the seller's paying it, that's still possible, and that would be a term that says and that you would have in that agreement that if a seller's compensating, that may reduce some of the burden on you in this agreement, and that would change what's going forward. If a seller's not offering to pay you as the buyer's representative, then you would have that as a buyer, that cost of your chosen representative as a closing cost to be financed in your loan or to be worked out as an additional cost when you close on the property, and that would be shaked out or settled out in the settlement statement and with the escrow company's settlement terms. And in some cases, you may be able to finance that fee. So you wouldn't have to pay it out of pocket, be able to roll it into your loan or roll it into the purchase. As you can see, there's a lot of things in flux right now. Both buyers and sellers are already reaching their conclusions, some good, some a little confusing, but they're starting to take a stand. And so if you would like some guidance on what direction, if you're thinking about selling, or what direction or what your options are if you're thinking about buying, we're happy to help. We spend a lot of time studying the case, studying the settlement, and we can give you some guidance that will move you down or at least go in the right direction as you're trying to work this out in your quest to buy or sell a home in the weeks and months ahead. I hope this has been helpful. If you have additional questions, we're available. Please reach out. We can share a lot of insights. We can provide some good reading material, not some of these sensationalized media reports that are kind of messing everybody up because they're not presenting good information, but we can help. Reach out. We're here. Thanks for watching and have a great day.